回見つけた空白の時間、迷い込んだ宙づりの世界、信じられる答え探し求めてよ、たださまよってよ。
夜の隙間逃がらない、よそ見せたら暇もない。
受けた傷跡さえ勝手に静寂切り裂いてく。
誰も彼も出てはライブ、守るだけじゃ can't survive。 I don't wanna lie to myself. Keep on the fight, get right. I never lose and cry. Keep on the day and night. Time to ride, no matter what anyone say. I find my way. Yeah, never go away.
Never go away.
Now nobody can stop me, no way. 忘れてしまうことのないように、落ちたもの全て取り戻され。I settled in this world. 繰り返す旅の果て、脳裏に残った失敗なんて全部取り返せ、今頼む。I settled in this world.
Now I know 全てこれ明白だらばら失った My way 暗闇中探す誰もが見も言わせず戦ってる僕のことを見向きもせず短いライフ俺なら何つかもう戦えるため For my war
Keep on the fight, get right. I never lose and cry. Keep on the day and night. Time to ride, no matter what anyone say. I find my way. Yeah, never go away.
Never go away.
Now nobody can stop me, no way. 自分自身を見失わないように、何もかも全て解き放って。Right settled in this world. 立ち上がる何度だって、リスクを恐れず光追って目を背けたって消せない too high. Right settled in this world.
I gotta go keep defend everything myself I gotta go keep defend everything myself
幻まで忘れずかすかなライトを探したし形のない大事なもの守れるかを経験は自分次第縦の表裏全部 girls that become Stay hungry, stay foolish 何があっても run
Never go away
Now nobody can stop me, no way 忘れてしまうことのないように落ちたもの全て取り戻すため Right settled in this world 繰り返す旅の果て脳裏に残った失敗なんて全部取り返せ今頼む Right settled in this world
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Flynncast Friday. I am your host, Flynn, and as always, today's podcast stream is going to be featuring 3 guests along with me. I hope my voice comes in nice and clear and the background music is not too loud. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Apparently, YouTube no longer wanted to load any more songs, so I guess we'll cut the elevator music a little bit short. And we'll kind of get started with today's podcast. We got ourselves a number of topics that I'm hoping you guys will enjoy. And today's 3 guests are going to include North America's very own Sandbag Bravo. We have a brand new a guest by the name of Flash. And we also have fellow creator Val. So I hope you guys are in and strapped because we got ourselves a good amount of topics. And to everybody currently coming in for the first time, Winter Siege, thank you for the follow. Welcome aboard. And we have ourselves a good amount of excitement for you guys. I don't really think there's anything else besides starting to get the ball rolling. If you guys have trouble hearing any one of us, please do say so. All you have to do is type in chat, hey, we can't hear, blah, blah, blah. I'll adjust. It's not very easy when you have 3 others in chat, so I will have to adjust sound levels as needed. And obviously, if the background music is too loud, all you gotta do is say so, and I will also adjust that sound. So, I think with that said, I'm going to go ahead and join my guests today, and I will have them introduce themselves. Good evening, guys. I'm excited you guys are with us today. I'm going to go ahead and have you guys introduce yourselves one at a time, and let everybody know who your favorite character is. Bravo, I think you can start us off.
Alright, hi everyone, I'm Bravo, as you guys can tell, and my favorite character is Audie and Tiago, by the way. Yeah. Alright, Flash and Val, you can unmute.
Alright, Flash, you're next. Come on up.
Hey, I'm Flash. I am the resident Reyna main, so my main girl is Reyna.
And finally, our very own creator, Val. We can take a guess who your favorite is, but feel free to do your own introduction.
Hey everyone, I'm Val, Valella, I guess.
Valella?
I'm sure all of you already know who my favorite character is. That's Frey.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
I thought it was Cathel.
Well, you guys, once again, I'll say it. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. We got ourselves a number of topics to talk about. And as always, we'll go through them one by one and we'll get everybody's full feelings on the matter. I think we also got a really nice balance of PvP and PvEers today. So I hope we can cover both aspects in terms of all the topics. And we can get started. So, Bravo, we recently had a really big patch drop, and first and foremost, the big one was the revamped awakening system. But what are your current thoughts on the state of the game?
I think by the direction of the game, I see Best Buy has been improving a lot on quality of life, and I think that's a good improvement so far. And well, I know a lot of people are still asking for balance patch, but I think balance patch doesn't need to come often. It can come like once a month or something, but other than that, I think everything is going fine.
And what do you think about the revamped awakening system that we just got?
Well, it does make like all the photos much faster because you can just like put anything in now. But in terms of unique weapon and unique UT, I still think the old method is still better. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Flash. What are your thoughts about the state of the game?
As a free-to-play or slightly small fish, I would have to say it's gotten a lot better than it has been in the past. I'm quite happy with the state of the game it is right now, and as Bravo said, balance patches don't need to be every other week, every 2 weeks. Once a month is definitely a good balance you can strike, even maybe only once every 2 months, unless there's something glaring that needs to be addressed. But I think right now the game has gotten a lot more friendly towards new players and has been drawing back a lot of the old veterans that kind of left the game as SW came out.
Okay. Well, Val, your opinion about all this, especially the state of the game?
I mean, I think these two phrased it pretty well. Like, the game is definitely a lot better than it was before. Vespa's definitely taking a lot of the right steps in making it a lot better. Balance patches coming out, at least like we know that they are looking into balancing, unlike before where we waited like what 7-8 months for a single balance patch. So
Yeah.
that's really good. And yeah, just a lot of quality of life stuff, which is really amazing. So yeah.
So a lot of you guys kind of hit on it. The current state of the game, especially recent patches, have been a lot of quality of life changes. I know Bravo said he likes the old method, but I gotta be honest with you, I actually really love the brand new awakening system, mainly because of the fodder. For a person who has horrible RNG, and I think at this point I can finally stop proving that I have horrible RNG, considering all the streams, all the screenshots you guys have seen. Having that awakening system just to make life a little simpler and a little less stressful, and it's nice. It really is. So one of the things that I really definitely have enjoyed in the recent patches is the amount of events that they've been holding, and the amount of actual freebies. And let me be honest, we complained to them about the ether system, and they've been giving us an abundance of ether. So with everything that's been going on in the last few months, Bravo, what would be your current feelings on King's Raid? Are you enjoying the game? Are you upset? What are your feelings?
Well, I definitely enjoy the game much more than in the past. Because people are more like competitive. Like they, well, I'm a PvP player, and I feel that people are like being more competitive recently because of all the change, and every hero's become more viable. And in terms of like gameplay wise, I think it's like a lot of quality change. Like I said, it made playing less tedious, and yeah, like added improvement is probably one of the best thing ever that they brought. And yeah, I totally enjoy the game as of right now, and I'm looking forward to see them make it better.
All right. Well, Flash, same question to you. What are your current feelings about the game? So we talked about the state of it, the changes. Currently, in your personal opinion, how do you feel about the game?
I think the game is in the right direction. It can always be better. There can always be more things that they can add, and I know everyone's never going to be fully satisfied with what they have, but as a person who kind of lives with daily stuff, not getting a ton of unique weapons or unique treasures every single day, I still think that the amount that they're giving, especially with the whole Estelle mission update, was just a great way of kind of enticing people to keep on playing and keep on improving, especially ever since like the gap grew with SW, and free-to-play players kind of got left behind in terms of heroes and how strong they are. But I think right now what they're doing is definitely a step in the right direction, and they can always keep on improving.
All right. Well, Vale, how about you?
I think I'm pretty happy with the game as it is as well. Like obviously we've got like a lot of stuff planned in the future, which I'm personally looking forward to. That's really what's keeping me going with this game right now. But but yeah, I definitely see like a lot more people in the community are really enjoying the game a lot more than than they used to. Like as Breville said, PvP got a lot more competitive. The Shackmare stuff was interesting for a while, but I think the real draw was, like as Flash said, like the Estelle missions, them giving out a lot more rewards and stuff, and yeah, keeping people more enticed to play, which is really good.
Well, as I have you guys kind of quickly look at chat and probably start thinking of some replies to what's going on in there, especially about the nerf Gwen and nerf Jane stuff, even though we haven't even really reached the balancing aspect of today's agenda. I gotta be honest, you guys already know how much I've loved King's Raid. I've played King's Raid for almost my 3rd year anniversary, so I'm on my way to number 3. I love the game. We've had a roller coaster of a ride, but right now I'm kind of really confident with the direction that they're going in, and seeing all the changes. You think about them happening one by one, and you don't realize how fast they stacked up between where we were back when first Soul Weapons released, and which was probably like 6 months ago. That was back in September of last year, and to now, and the amount of changes and improvements and just everything they've done in general. I'll flat out say it. I think they're kind of back to being Vespa, or on their way back to kind of getting their nickname Vespa back. That's my honest opinion of that.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that. There's still so at some point you have to look at it and still say that that Vespa still has a dollar sign in it. But I think with this upcoming June 9th update, we're definitely going to see the old Vespa start to come back out, and hopefully it keeps on going with the Eclipse update.
We'll definitely get to that portion because that's gonna be my emotional portion of that. All right, so let's go ahead and take some audience comments. Take a look what's going on. I think right now everybody is kind of sitting anxious, looking at the comments. Everybody's still talking about buffs and nerfs, which is again one of the biggest topics that goes on in King's Raid is literally balancing. And it looks like really nothing much about the state of the game. So everybody in the chat, while we go ahead and kind of prattle for a little bit, what are you guys' feelings about the actual game? How are you guys feeling about it? Are you guys happy with the state of the game? Are you guys... I mean, we got literally two of it just came in. He said, remove the heal rate reduction of Eclipse. Okay, thanks, bye. So I can't. While we kind of wait for chat to see what their feelings on in the game, a lot of them again we're coming in with more balancing comments. Time to White Knight. No need to White Knight. If you're not liking anything in the game, I think this is the good place to actually talk about it, open up the topic, see how everybody else thinks about it. Because stuff I might find unfair, other people may be like, well, I think it is fair or something like that. Yeah, but it looks like everybody's still rolling in with the buffs. What do you guys think? I'm looking at chat. Everybody's talking about buffs and nerfs.
I see a lot of people saying buff plus.
I think he does need a buff, or at least a revamp of his skills. He's got such an outdated kit.
Please make Lacrack
Yeah.
good looking. Ooh.
The thing is that like I mean I do agree that plus is probably like not good compared to other assassin right now. Like he's supposed to be PvP heroes, and then Kibera does it much better. Even Tanya is like much better against burst, and we have like Glady is like there. He's just Glady.
Yes.
Well, considering we've already opened up the topic, here we go. Before we move on to balancing, looks like Tuebe says they're already going to change Eclipse, but without the removal of the heal rate reduction, it'll turn into a whole hellhole for everyone. Currently, as it is, it's a Spirit Morph gimmick. He's not wrong about that. It's whoever has the higher Spirit Morph ring is going to be the one to more than likely clear. So we'll kind of see what that's going to be like. So I'm hoping maybe that they'll actually kind of listen to that. Chem Cheddar says more archers, please. That's actually a really good point. We actually still have the least amount of archers in the game. So we'll see how that kind of goes. So I guess now that we've kind of opened up the topic of balancing, and it's probably about time that we reopen it and revisit that topic because we didn't touch on it last stream. Let's talk about revisiting the PvP balance. Bravo, I'll go ahead and let you go first, since, again, I'm just going down the list, and you happen to be number 2 right now. So,
All right.
In your opinion right now, how is the PvP balance of the game?
Well, so because of the soul weapon system, a lot of heroes are becoming much viable, and the recent buff make heroes like Lorraine really, really strong, to the point to be too broken. and then there's also Lacrack, who's like a sleeper, but people has been picking him up, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to face a Lacrack. and then there are like some niche heroes that see more use, like Ezekiel. I'm actually surprised that not many people talk about Ezekiel, but I think his buff is actually really good, and I feel like people should like pay more attention to him instead of Lorraine, because Lorraine took away all the attention of all the heroes in the same patch. And Gao is still bad.
The takeaway is that Gau's still bad.
So you guys, and I gotta put this out there because you guys also threw me into a tailspin and into a tizzy. When Lorraine got that immense buff, I woke up the next morning, or maybe it could have been the next few mornings. I tried to erase it out of my memory because I was blown up with DMs, I was blown up with screenshots, I was blown up with videos, and I believe we also made Kamfa/Shink's stream for us just to try to get some footage on Grandma Lorraine and how busted she is. But let's actually address the elephant in the room. In your honest opinion, at the given moment, do you actually think Lorraine is busted, Bravo?
Yes, Lorraine is too much.
Lorraine is too much. Flash, what about
Yeah.
you? Or not
Yeah.
enough? You could say I don't know enough about her.
I would say I think Lorraine's brokenness stems down to probably one of the bigger issues in PvP, and that's irremovable buffs and debuffs.
And it's probably the poison. Poison goes tick
Yes.
tick, by the way.
Yeah. The irremovable side on many units makes a lot of things a lot more tough. It used to be you have to time your dispels and your cleanses in order to deal with certain hero skills, but now that you have irremovable CC immunity, irremovable debuffs like Lorraine's poison, you get these issues that you can't deal with it, and you basically either have to pray that you heal enough or that you're able to tank through it itself.
It's really funny because Earl / Twitch is cool brings up a really good point. He says her poison not going away after she dies is dumb. Not
just the poison. Her S2 also doesn't go away after she dies.
Val, what are your thoughts on Grandma Lorraine and her poison going tick tick?
I mean, yeah, she definitely is overtuned. Like, there's no way you can like sit there and just think, yeah, this is fine. Like, she definitely does way too much in PvP. It's just ridiculous.
Lucas is
even
also
as-
bringing up a good
even
point.
as some- yeah.
I'll go for
and
it.
it's not just in PvP too. You see her almost dominating in Flow Trial and Eclipse as well. That's when you know a hero's been over vamped.
Shagmer too, don't forget about that.
And I'm sorry,
Yeah.
we interrupted you, Val. What were you saying?
I was just gonna say, like, even as like someone who has like really, like, I run a healer comp. You guys already know that.
I know. We all know.
Yeah, like usually I can sustain through a Lorraine like decently well, but like there's always going to be those like few Lorraines that just like there's just way too much. Like, she has healing reduction in her kit.
Yep.
It's just like, yeah, no way.
Lucas brought up a really good point. Her dispel into damage and CC on S3 is dumb too. So, all right. So we kind of, I think that's probably to what I'm saying. Her dispel plus knockdown is just ridiculous. It's disruptive even from a class UW, which is literally Scarlet ST stun all over again. So I think at this point, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but at least I wanted to kind of bring it out in the open because I thought I was overreacting. People made me overreact, and you guys know that as creators, between Val, Gwen, Twebe, myself, Casual Gamer, and I'm not even sure if Dr. Danger Zone is still around, but they do get feedback from us and they ask us for feedback. So you guys literally threw all this at me, and all I did was take it and I threw it right back at them, and then it made them start to panic, and we had a whole situation going on. So I said going forward, I'm not going to get myself involved in this, but considering that we're on a podcast and they are listening to these things, it'd be a good idea to open up the topic. So I'm kind of glad we kind of saw that, and I can see chat is kind of in unison in the fact that right now she is a little busted. Maybe not little, a lot, but we'll leave it at that.
The hero is busted when even the man who like using Lorraine, they're not defending her. The ministry is broken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, besides Lorraine, what do you think about the balance of PvP, Flash?
I think it goes back to what I said earlier about the irremovable debuffs and buffs being one of the things that really does break PvP in and of itself. I think a very prime example is Kane's S2 into undispellable CC immunity. That alone makes it really hard to disrupt a Kane comp if he's able to get S2 off, and most generally in high-level PvP, he is going to get that S2 off into another undispellable effect being his S1, either in Tyrant mode or in God King mode. Another thing you can really look at is Nalia's S2 with UT2. It's a free attack buff with 250 P dodge, and you can't remove it. You have to let it sit for that long uptime. So I think it used to be, as I said earlier, timing your dispels and cleanses in order to deal with an opponent, rather than just having to either wait out or heal out or out damage them with those buffs or debuffs.
And I think a counter argument to that is I don't think dispellable and undispellable buffs are actually game breaking. I think it's more so bloated kits. And in Kane's particular case, I actually don't really think his S2 is broken, but I think his actual kit in general is just bloated. He does too much for one hero. So I don't mind heroes having undispellable buffs and having undispellable, debuffs to give to other heroes. It's the bloated kits that make the issue. So imagine if they took away Kane's S1 Tyrant mode, for example, like he no longer dispelled or was no longer undispellable. Suddenly it doesn't matter if he can go into his S2 undispellable mode because it's not like, he's much of a threat on his S1 skill or his S2 skill. The biggest threat from Kane kind of comes, and this is my honest opinion, is if he does get into S2 Tyrant mode, he can S1 3 people with his S1 Dark perk, and then he can pull people in. Suddenly, it makes it hard to resist that pull, it makes it hard to shield against it, it can make it hard to cleanse against that final hit that also stuns. So I think it's more so the fact that there's bloated kits than it is undispellable buffs, but that's my honest counter-argument to that one.
Yeah, I agree with that in some respect, but and another thing you also have to think about is the fact that he gets that undispellable CC immunity means you can't interrupt him at any point.
Which is correct, but if he didn't do as much, then it wouldn't really matter.
Yeah, that's very true. As a Reyna user in PvP, which is probably that's really a major issue is the fact that I'm using her in PvP, but you have a unit that has dispellable stacks, like her UW and her S4, versus a unit that has undispellables, like Kane's S1 in Tyrant mode, and she loses basically 75 to 90% of her capabilities. Because you basically nullify her into just sitting there becoming a meat shield.
A potato, if you will.
Yeah, but I think when you have a unit that has, as you said, a bloated kit, but this bloated kit has a bunch of undispellable stuff, you kind of have yourself combining two big problems into one massive kind of, I don't know what kind of word to use, but a bigger issue.
I don't know when you enter PvP, but in actuality, before Kane came out, Kara was a thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sam made Kara very viable. And there was like a hot minute where Kara was like super viable.
Yeah,
where
we called them Cyclones.
Everyone was picking up Kara with Sonya,
Desarta, Juno, and everybody was a Cyclone.
So I'm pretty sure that basically Vespa think that as long as Magico has Kara, Kane is fine. Yeah.
Well, not to continue to dwell on Kane's kit, let's keep moving on. Val, what is your current opinion of the PvP balance?
I don't know if I really have much say in PvP, because, I mean, you guys know what I use in PvP. But...
An OP comp.
Come on. But, yeah, I do feel like the thing with PvP now is, like, there just isn't enough counterplay to a lot of heroes. Like, as Flash said, I'm just going to bring up Kane again. Kane, there just isn't enough counterplay to him, I guess. Like, people say divers is enough to counter him, but, like, for some people that might not just be enough. And then you have, like, Lorraine, as stated before, her undispellable dot. There's nothing you can do to counteract that. You just have to sit there and take it. Some soul weapons, you just have to sit there and take it. Like Arch soul weapon, some people have been saying, but Arch is in a really bad situation. So, but yeah, I just feel like there's not enough like situations where your actual mechanics and skill is tested. Rather, you just have to like sit there and brute force or tank everything.
You know, we opened up a can of worms because Chad is certainly lit over Kane, with Chocolate Niblets coming in saying the issue with Kane is there isn't really a way to stop Kane once he starts going other than just taking it and waiting it out. You can interrupt him in Mercy, even undispellable, but on top of that, of having a loaded kit, you just have to either take it or kill him, which I don't disagree with. But however, they are coming out with more and more counters to Kane. Now, this could be just my perspective as a PvPer, but I do think Kane has kind of gotten a lot tamer in the last few patches and in the last few weeks. I don't actually have too much issues with him, but then at the end of the day, again, I am kind of like a PvP main. I have PvP heroes, or my heroes are all in PvP builds, and it also could be biased because I use Kane myself. So there's a lot of stuff there. Chun is coming in. Why is no one talking about Nyla? Chun, we can beat Nyla like the bird she is.
throw
shoot
her
her out of
into
the sky, whatever you want to do. We already know that KFC bucket is broken.
You know, I'm actually agree with you, Flynn, that Ken is actually not a big problem every time we face him. Just because, like, in heroes nowadays, like, you definitely have a lot of ways to deal with Ken. And one new addition that basically make Ken completely useless is Evan. Evan is basically
Evan-
But Evan also invalidates Kane too, you know?
yeah.
Evan
And
invalidates
why does
Kane.
it validate him? Is it because of that S3 light that has an irremovable?
The irremovable shield.
Come
That is
on,
correct.
Mitch.
It prevents the pull. Evan's undispellable S3 shield. Now, given if it's a whaled Evan versus a whaled Kane, Evan's gonna win. If you're doing a
Yeah.
whaled Kane versus Evan, you ain't gonna get very far. You have to have equal investment on both for a proper comparison.
Like, for example, like if you say like a very budget Ken, he will not do any damage. Likewise, for a budget Evan, his shield would be paper thin. So, and yeah, but so basically, Evan is something that Frey wants to be, but she can't.
Well, you
Oh
don't
my
have to sit there and hit Val right on stream. Did you have to take the punch out at Val right on stream?
Bullied over here.
He's literally bullying you for no absolute reason.
I'm seeing in chat that people are talking about a Panzerone.
Yep.
One of the things about Panzerone that I think is just what causes her to break through into the PvP scene. And strangely enough, she isn't used that much in NA's League of Victory, but she has gotten a lot of use in League of Honor from what I've seen.
Yep.
But
Definitely League of Honor.
I think the main issue with her is just her multipliers. They're so huge. The amount of damage she's able to do with S3, even without the S3 Dark perk that changes it to 3 enemies, allows her to just completely wipe teams that may or may not have over 30 mil HP on after arena buff. It's kind of crazy. And then adding on the 500 pen perk from her S2, it's crazy how much damage she can do.
And I'll be honest, I don't disagree. I've actually been on the receiving end of Pansy. I am actually a quick banner of Pansy. If I see somebody pick Pansy, especially when I'm in the challenger tier levels, I immediately ban her. Like I just grab my mouse and I'm like, I don't care who else is in your deck. We're letting Pansy step out.
Well, Pansy is like a very interesting hero. I think the main reason why you don't see her as much in NA server is because NA server is a house of Ken. and basically, as long as Ken exists in NA server, you will never see any Pansy.
Yeah, Kane is definitely one of the counters to Pansy because he can immediately shut her down, which is nice.
But then if in League of Honor, if you ban Ken or you pick Ken and then you pick Pansy, she will be very hard to deal with because she basically, I assume every Pansy nowadays is from offering. So let's say 5-star offering, which is 7 second of immunity.
Yep.
And then also the S2 on top of that, which is another 5 seconds. So she basically can have maximum of 12 seconds of undying. And well, people still argue that her S3 has a lot of mana cost, but she is a mechanic.
Well, yeah. Her auto attack hits multiple enemies. So what you can basically do is run Brazier on her and get a full mana bar if they're running a full melee comp.
I'm actually think Mothring is much better than her, but yeah.
The
that
more
works
you know,
too.
I swear, the more you know. Pansy's quick to burst too. I don't know about you guys, but I've also found her like a quick burst too. So either way, I find her in the sheer fact that Pansy is another hero who is absolutely busted in both PvP and PvE is, you know, it gets a little old in my honest opinion. I'm kind of tired of seeing heroes who can excel amazingly in both.
That's why I'm not that angry about Sonya being good in PvP.
There you go.
Because she's not.
She's absolutely trash in PvE.
PvE, that's a big shock.
Yeah,
she's actually very tame right now. I think
she's.
Sonya,
I do believe she's pretty tame.
where she is.
A lot of people have caught up with their supports, mainly their priests. So Sonya isn't as big as of a threat as she used to be. And that's kind of why we're seeing a lot of things change up, is because people are catching up on supports now. Everybody got their DPSs up there. Now supports are starting to catch up, which is a lot of things are starting to change, which is why we feel Kayn is a lot more tame. Because, people built Kayn and then he would literally bully you. And now we got a few counters to Kayn on top of the fact that people's investments on their supports have caught up, so Kayn feels a lot tamer. But yeah, I mean, it's a give and take situation.
I see someone bringing up heinous.
Oh, feel free.
Please.
Feel free to take it away on heinous. I bet Matt would love that topic.
Right now, I don't like heinous. I think she's broken. People can sandbag all they want, but I think she's too broken. She is basically you remember when we talk about the CC and the spell at the same skill? Yeah, she has that one mana. That is not okay. That is just not okay.
Soul Spring Water on her. And she's a mech.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she excels in GC3. In fact, she is probably one of the best physical DPS in GC3 right now.
I'll give her GC because she's a guild unit. But I think just a 1-mana Dispel nuke in and of itself
is a little
scary.
much. Yep.
Yeah.
Because you're combining a counter to a bow comp or any quick burst comp. Like you have now a Leo that does the amount of damage that like a Lorraine can do.
And don't forget, it blinds too.
Yeah.
It blinds. I think she is one of the heroes that is like definitely on the broken side, but people are still denying it. Especially Heinous Man.
Heinous means deny it.
Heinous Man so much hate my head.
Heinous replaced Urze everywhere. That's on PCs for you, huh?
I think another unit that has flown under the radar ever since the buff, and I think Gravel mentioned it, was Zeke.
Ezekiel.
Like, 1 mana dive into Fury into knockdown. Have fun dealing with that if you don't have a bow. Even then, actually, I think it's one of the quickest dives in the game.
Yep.
What I've seen, because of when he's able to use it, and the fact that he also gets ignore defense on his auto attacks and gets the Nalia treatment on his S3 with ignore tough.
And I don't mean to interrupt you. This is the second time chat brings this up, where first it was Crispy Fish Tacos, and now Luco's bringing in Bernheim. Let's open up Bernheim's book.
All right. So Bernheim, after the buff, he's amazing. I think he's amazing. He's really good. Because like he's one of the heroes that have the rare mechanism where he doesn't use mana at all, and because of the change where like self cleanse on S2, now we basically can just pick and the T5 Dark too. It basically make him a very enable very very fast, and I think that makes him very viable right now. I don't think he's too broken because giving a lot of things that happening in the meta right now is like I think he's like he's fine.
Well, I think Twitter brings up a good point, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm, again, more PvP than I am PvE. He says don't touch him, he's trash everywhere else. I think really outside of PvP, and I think some Earth Trial, I actually don't see Bernheim anywhere in PvE. Do you guys know if he's good anywhere else?
No, not really.
No.
So, I mean, there's definitely give and take. So I know there's some heroes that are really good in PvP, but otherwise in PvE, they're absolutely trash. And once again, I'll bring up the fact that, we have this meme with me going on, and, Kibera does no damage, by the way. So, I mean, I love Kibera. His PvP performance is amazing, but really, outside of right now, which I've seen, like, a few clears of Sky 7 with him, and Sky 8, he's really pretty bad. And I see Chad is already using the Kibera command.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and Pies brings up a good point. Heroes that do too well in PvE shouldn't excel in PvP. When you're invading too many heroes' territory, the result is that you're invalidating a lot of other heroes. You're absolutely correct. I am with you 100%, Pies. I am in the same exact boat. And yes, Kibera does no damage, by the way, especially in PvE.
I have an idea, and I think a few people will probably share my sentiment on this, but I have a feeling it's probably never going to get done, but why doesn't Vespa just create separate kits for PvP and PvE? Kind of like how Cass's S3 does has charm in the arena, but not in PvE.
I think it's more about the effort and how the heroes were designed. I mean, I can bring up another really good point, and this one actually applies to my boy Castle, where he's been revised a few times, and obviously his area of expertise has always been PvP, and they've tried to give him a little bit of PvE love, which, by the way, he's still absolutely trash outside of Earth 8 and obviously Earth Trial. He's still absolutely trash. His entire kit is 9. Yeah, I mean, you can see him literally struggle in Shakma too. I mean, it's literally right there on your screen. But I mean, you've seen him that they've given him non-hero damage when all the endgame fights have literally been either hero or not more than single target. So I mean, it's just, I think, a matter of the game's design and the way it's shifted throughout the years and their kits, which is why they go back and they kind of redesign and remake some skills and things like that. I mean, I'm not sure if you used to remember Castle's old skill 4 used to reduce accuracy and did a little bit of tiny damage. They changed that out and took that out and gave him extra defense.
And then Cecilia exists.
And then Cecilia exists. And then you got Cecilia, which you know what? Right now, currently wrecking both.
Serena main, I don't like talking about Cecilia. Because as an assassin that doesn't have a dive, you look at Cecilia, who has a dive, and think,
he's not an assassin.
And a really just a quick comment that came out of Lunite. He says, in that case, do you rather Dark Castle Frey be good in PvP or PvE? Yes, I would prefer it to be one way or the other. But that's just my honest opinion. You know, if and again, this is now my personal bias to actual Castle. If he comes out OP in both, I'll raise my hands up and I'll welcome it. But obviously, it's my boy. I'm not gonna deny that welcoming. So before we move on to the PvE balance, Val, we really haven't heard too much from you on this topic. Do you have any closing comments? I know you're more PvE than PvP, but I know you love your priests.
I mean, like,
I
think we have covered like mostly what I would have wanted to say. Like, there's this line that used to be drawn between PvE and PvP heroes. Like, heroes used to have a niche. Like, you had heroes that would be exclusively used in one content or the other, or they would have a little bit of something for the other content as well. But yeah, now it's just like that line is just gone now. Like, it doesn't exist. You have here, like, they're making heroes for PvE and PvP. They're trying to make heroes that are for everything. I feel like is what they're trying to do, because people were complaining like, oh, I don't want to invest in so many heroes for all these different content. So they're trying to make heroes that people can just invest into one and that's it. They're set for life. But I don't feel like that's the right direction they should be trying to take.
I honestly agree with you. Again, going back to Lunite's comment, I do prefer heroes to be either for PvP or PvE, not both. But
I think
that's my
chat is going to take us into our next topic at this point.
Yeah, are we ready to move on to PvE? Is that what it is?
I think we should start with the elephant in the room, or at least the barbarian, Yane.
Wait, I'm sorry, who's Yane?
She's so bad. Alright, I'm gonna open it up. She is really bad, and it's like even in Dragon, well, nobody's doing it right now.
Nobody does Dragon anymore.
Not the best at it. Like,
T10 Dragon raids come out.
I see all of chat going, who's Yane, by the way? Who's Yane? Yep, unfortunately, who is Yane indeed?
Who is Yane?
I don't disagree. Okay. I mean, she's non-existent in both areas at this point. I honestly, if I see a built Yane, it has to be a person who absolutely loves her. Otherwise, I actually never ever see her in anything. Period.
I have a guildmate that's kind of like a Yane shipper.
Oh.
And even he is like, I can't find myself the right time to build her, just because of the fact that she's not useful anywhere.
I'm sorry, this is making me really giggle, and I'm trying to hold it back. The singing hobo, aka Meister, is like she's only useful for Calyx twice a year.
Yeah. So Val, you did say that you prefer like Vespa like making heroes specialize in one field and not the other, and then we is have Yana. I think
Niche.
I think the reason why they stopped doing that is because of heroes like Yana.
Yeah, fair enough
Let's
of that.
just say, yeah, I don't think like at one point I think that having like a hero specialized in one era is good. I think Kibera is like, yeah, he's broken, but he's only useful in PvP. So
Yep.
yeah, okay. But then we have Yana, who's not useful anywhere. So
No,
I think
you're
they-
wrong. Meister literally just said it. She's useful twice a year when Calyx rolls around.
Yeah,
Yeah, so-
the problem with
Why
Yanni is
wouldn't
like
you use anyone else?
it's
yeah, but
very
the thing,
it's very
She's
hard
just-
for Vespa to actually make a niche hero specializing one content and not another, because people would, I would say, it's not. We may want it, but Vespa doesn't look for the majority of players who are like not expert in either field. They just want something like easy to raise, and if the hero doesn't sell, I don't think Vespa will make that hero.
Chocolate Niblets actually brings up a really good point. He says they really need to change her dragon damage percent to dragon and dragon stun to boss damage and similar, because she was released back before Chapter 8 and dragons were way more viable in Chapter 8. I actually fully agree, is that the last time really was probably around Chapter 8 was the last time we used to run dragons, and then Dispatch came out.
Fair. I think I think someone brought up about Yana can be viable in PvP because her S3 is undispellable and her auto attack is actually doing more than Nyx. But that's about it.
Huh.
4
I feel
mana cost, though.
Yeah, 4 mana cost. So probably if they even think of like revamping Yana, probably like make her like viable somewhere else other than Dragon. I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah, well, go ahead, build her. Prove us wrong in PvP at least. Val, what are your thoughts about the current PvE balance?
honestly, like even though you said like I am more of a PvE player, I really haven't been keeping up with the PvE meta. Mostly because like I've just been using priests, and priests have just been like
I've been called in a support. Nobody uses me anything except for support.
It's OP.
The problem with that I'm finding, like, this is for me, it's someone who really likes using priests wherever I can. Like, priests are just becoming more and more like obsolete. Even at like endgame PvP, you only see like 2 or 3 viable priests. There's no more of that like diverse options. Like Maddie used to be a really good option, but now she's like basically useless.
Well, Twebe actually brought it up earlier, where you're needing less and less to rely on knights and priests, especially like for things like Eclipse, because they have heal reduction. So I kind of agree with you in the fact that if you can't really use your priests, what's the point?
Like even Shia, like the hero that everyone wanted and like was using so much like last year or a couple of years back, she's starting to like fall off. No one's using her anymore. Like I think she's been completely dropped from all 3 world bosses. Some people aren't even running her in GC3 from what I've seen. So yeah,
Don't forget Lucius.
Oh, there. Yeah, I'm looking at chat, and chat is screaming, Lucius, Lucius, Lucius.
I would say about Lucius, but I just
Lucius is a hero that I feel like they try to make him balanced, but they may be too careful about it. Yeah, they're being too careful on
Made
Lucius.
him good for GC2, but gave him a UW that doesn't work in long battles.
Yeah.
Gave him for long battle content, and gave him a useless UW for long battle content. I mean, he's good for shock with that UW, I guess. But why would you run him when you can't? When your dodge chance is useless?
There you go.
Yeah. Do you think that like unit weapon that has duration on effectiveness, like Lucius and Dosada, we should just get rid of those and just make it like permanent? Because I feel like putting a duration on the effectiveness of unit weapon basically make the heroes like it basically put a time limit on them. After that, they are not useful anymore.
I
And
think
It's not a
In Lucius's particular case, and I do actually agree with Chad, with Toba saying it's a dispellable, which I agree, like, it's immediately dispellable. Chem Cheddar is saying that his UW is straight trash. I also agree, especially because it's actually absolutely almost useless in PvP, because one, it is dispellable, and two, it is gives you bonus non-hero damage. So there's definitely that. You only get, I guess, the toughness for 30 seconds, and you get the attack speed up for like 30 seconds or so. So I kind of agree that maybe Lucius has kind of fallen out. It was really funny because I remember that Lucius was the first priest that wasn't Baldwin and Leo, and everybody was so hyped he actually outshone Krisha when Krisha released. And here we are now down the road where we're all crying for Lucius buffs, and Krisha sitting in the corner laughing at us all. Want to make it broken? S2 self cleanse? That's not broken. That's actually balanced to a bit. I think he needs S2 self cleanse. I don't think that's broken.
I think all UW effects should be undispellable, because what's the point of having that there besides the attack stacks and the runes? If your effect is just going to get removed, why use it at that point?
I think UWs that can get dispelled, that are allowed to re-proc, that aren't time-based, should be okay. But I agree, at least in Lucius's particular case, especially if you are like in a PvP battle, if it gets dispelled or the time runs out, it just simply can't re-proc. You're done with it.
I mean, it's not like it's useful in PvP right now anyway.
That's fair. I'm just saying, like, at least if there's no chance for it to re-proc, then yeah, it probably should be more of a permanent kind of a thing.
I think it should be similar to the way some other UWs like Reyna's work, where they have a precondition. So Reyna crits and she gets a UW stack. Evan uses a skill and he gets a UW stack.
Yeah.
It should be similar, instead of it just being at the beginning of each battle.
Yep.
Unless it's like a PvP centric one, where you're kind of looking at a burst UW. But then again, make that undispellable.
Well, Val, what are your thoughts? Come on, you're the priest lord here.
Priest Lord.
The thing with Lucius is he's the one priest that I have the least experience with.
I released a video for him too.
I know. But like, the thing is, like, the content he's used in is just so niche that even I can't find a place to use him. Like, I personally have like tried so hard to try and like use him and learn like what he does and how he works, but I just can't do it. There's just nothing I can put him in to like make him useful.
That moment when you realize that his UW in GC2 gets dispelled when Lacreal jumps.
Yup.
So it's not even useful if he just jumps at the start of the fight.
Jump up.
Oh my god.
Tuebe shouting, "There we go! Val has spoken! Buff Lucius!" I don't disagree. I do think Lucius is in need of a buff of some sort. Or a rework. I also think his S4 is absolutely trash.
Alright, speaking of PvE and we're speaking of Briz right now, can we bring up Medi as well? I think she really need a buff too.
Yeah.
Who's Medi?
Yeah, like Medi is like, so in the past, people you've been using Medi because she's the only buff, like buff your DPS kind of hero. And then we got Lavro. And then we reached, and then we moved towards like the point where like amps is much better. And then Medi just she just fall off. Her attack buff isn't even that much now.
Medi's main draw was her attack buff and immortality. Was it? I think it's a 40% attack buff. I might be wrong if someone could correct me on that in chat. But Lavrel alone gives 60% by herself, and then she also gives an immortality perk from her S2 Light. So you have one unit that has displaced another unit's complete use, and then you add on the fact that Lavrel's amp is through the roof.
I think another problem with Medi is like she was given 2 big healing skills. These 2 healing skills don't do anything like buff wise, amp wise, except for like S1 with UT1, but I'm not really gonna count that. Like, you don't see any more priests giving like that much healing, but also with like little to no offensive capabilities or like offensive buffing. Her kit is just too outdated.
Her kit is
Yeah.
outdated, and a lot of people are bringing up PvP Medi back in the day. Yes, I actually agree, PvP Medi. I would dare you to go ahead and try that again now. Just saying.
Fair.
Oh,
Are you challenging me? Is this a challenge?
Oh, I'm talking about chat. Chat, they're calling us Zoomers, and talking about how
No.
we've never experienced it. I remember PvP Medi. That was terrifying stuff. But right now, PvP Medi is just, it's over, man. It's over.
Oh, PvP Medi was one like the only source of despair that we have was Leo and Ricardo, and then you basically just time your Medi S3 and then buff into your next Otanya, and then just it was a good time. It was a good time.
One of the things earlier that they said was we need justice for archers, and I wanted to see. We talked a little bit about the PvP balance side of it. We actually still don't really have any good archers outside of Zephyr and maybe Yuria. Correct me if I'm wrong. You guys, what do you guys think about archers and PvE right now?
Archer and E, what?
I think aside from Zephyr, I don't think any actor. Yeah, Yuria probably.
Yuria and Zephyr are the only two that come to mind in terms of them maybe being remotely
And
viable.
wait. Celine.
Oh, there's
Celine.
Celine. Oh, you know what?
No,
Yeah,
okay,
Celine for
Celine
Eclipse.
broken.
But and I guess she's limited to certain challenge raids. You guys are right. Yep, there is Celine. She's limited to Eclipse in certain. You guys are right. Never mind. We're good with archers. We can move
Never
on.
mind.
Is great, honestly, for what she is. But
Yeah.
and the good thing about her is she doesn't break too far into PvP. Meanwhile, you have a unit like Zaf who can kind of juggle both.
Yeah.
Can I chime in and bring in one of the most unpopular heroes?
Go for
That
it.
is Requina.
Okay, we're moving on. Requena needs to be deleted from the game.
Okay. So
But she's good in chat.
a lot of people has been hating Requina because of her PvP stuff. But then now we have Lagrak. And now I'm gonna be honest, Requina doesn't look. I mean, she's strong. but she's
Let me
not
give
that
you
strong, right?
my perspective on it. I still would rather fight Lacrack than Requena. Here is the main reason why. Requena immediately blocks your mana. In terms of Lacrack, he mana burns. I can actually fight Lacrack with an Evan or with a Elias because I can still generate mana and they can give me mana. Whereas if I'm fighting a Requena and she blocks my mana and it's uncleansable, undispellable, whatever you want to call it, I am stuck eating poop. Like, I can... Requena will mana block me. I can't cleanse with Lomin Shield. I can't proxy with Castle. I can't cleanse or jump with Nyla. Whereas, if I was able to get my mana from Laius or Evan or whoever might be helping me generate mana, I'll be able to proxy, I can cleanse, I can jump, I can do whatever I need to. That's why I would rather actually still fight Lacrack than I would rather fight Requena.
Fair.
But you said something. You said something.
the thing I'm not good about is not her kit, but her soul weapon.
Oh boy.
The thing that I want to address is not her kit, but her soul weapon. I think that is one of the worst soul weapon in the game.
Yeah.
Even how much we all hate Requena, I actually, because I'm transitioned to Bruiser now, I don't like requesting Requena, but I think her soul weapon is subpar.
And I'm just reading at chat. Bravel, nobody in chat agrees with you, so we're gonna close the coffin on Requena and hope she just dies.
Alright, fine.
Requena's just getting buried.
Like
We're
I
done with
said,
Requena.
Like I say, I know it's very unpopular. That's why I'm.
Because she's perfectly fine and she's used in both PvE and PvP and she's busted in both.
I think a nice little transition is going into the two top DPSs right now for content, and that's Laudia and CC, and how we can find a good way to make other heroes almost as good or as good without breaking them in other content. And I think Kara was a good step, but not a big enough one in terms of trying to compete with Laudia. But I don't believe that nerfing Laudia is the right way to go. I believe buffing other heroes to make them compete is a much better way of dealing with how good Laudia is in PvE.
How long has Ladia been on top?
Always.
Too long since release.
Since the time she came up, since the time she got introduced, she's always been up.
Well, that kind of answers that. I don't disagree. It's kind of funny you bring that up though, Flash, because you're literally talking about Magic competing with Magic too. I think right now Pansy and Cece are the only two that have a remote way of trying to compete with Ladia, and right now Kara.
You forgot Heinous.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. And we got Heinous.
Yeah, Heinous. Don't forget Heinous, yeah.
Well, I'll let you guys go ahead and take a quick look at chat to quickly catch up, see if you guys want to do any closing comments before we move on to our next topic. Because let me be honest, we have spent quite a bit of time talking about balancing that you may have not noticed the clock at how much we've actually prattled about balancing.
Oh,
Closing comment. Buff Reina, please. I'm serious.
Right, please.
Who's Reina?
Is how bad her S2 is in terms of an attack buff. It's 36,000. It's tiny. It's so tiny. It's
Cal
so
just got a
tiny.
buff DX. We don't need to talk about Cal.
Boy.
I think, how about we leave the part where which hero we want to buff later? I feel like it should be later. Yeah.
I think that should be good enough on terms of the balancing. We could honestly keep talking about this for a long time, and I'm pretty sure everybody has thoughts and feelings about this. But you know what? We talked about some of the important ones. To be honest, like for example, we have no idea what Medi's role is anymore. Who's Lucius? Nobody knows. We know that Gao is non-existent in content despite his last buff. We know that Yane is literally a hero nobody uses and nobody buys, and people skip over her. So I think we've kind of gotten that all kind of wrapped up.
There is one other thing that I know a lot of people have been complaining about, and that's how some units in Big Shock are completely useless if they're a melee unit, especially most divers.
Yup.
Roy comes to mind as probably being one of the top complaints about how he can't kill tree in larger stages.
Oh, honey, Castle can't kill trees in the larger stage either.
Yeah.
it's pretty much a given. I think in terms of balancing, they do have to take a look at closer. And I'll be honest, the way they're going, it's probably going to come. It's just a matter who's gonna get it first. They've been doing a good job. I am not going to press them for it. I'm pretty sure that they're paying attention and they're listening to us, guys. I will be utmost certain is they're definitely listening to us. So if we keep it clean, we keep it professional, and we keep it honest, I'm pretty sure eventually we'll get it all through.
Yeah.
All right, so I think with the majority of balancing out the way, let's move on from balancing.
That's the surface.
Let's preview dungeon. It was incredibly meme, yet for me in specific, it hit hard. But let me ask this, Bravo, did you skip the preview dungeon or did you actually watch it?
I watched everything. I watched every of it.
What were your feelings on it?
I honestly feel like it's not much information.
Not much.
I feel like they just tease. They just tease us.
Very
Yeah,
meme.
they just tease. Yeah.
Very meme.
Yeah.
Flash, what about
It's
you?
not-
Did you watch it or did you skip it?
I watched it, yep.
What'd you think?
I just want them to have a happy ending, man.
You're not wrong, man. You're not wrong.
Just give them a happy ending. They're
Val.
cool and they're falling forms, but just give them a happy ending, please.
Yeah. Val, what about you?
Flynn, please, you don't even have to ask me.
Yeah.
I was tearing up. I was in tears after it. I've watched it multiple times just because like I just wanted to hurt myself more and more.
I could only handle it once, but I you know what, for a person, and I guess maybe for us too, it hits a little harder because again, you're the Frey main, I'm the Castle main. I love my boy to death and back, and it's the reason I play, and you're probably in the same exact boat with Frey. I'm not ready, and even though I promised to do a stream that very first day, as I go through story, I bet you guys I will be definitely crying or tearing, because Chapter 9 in specific hit me so hard, I did not want to deal with life for a little while. I did not want to deal with life for a while.
I do like the way they introduce Darkness Castle and Fallen Castle and Fallen Prey. Like they make the entire event very similar to the old anniversary. Or is it the same date? I'm not sure. I don't remember the anniversary, but it has a very similar vibe where it's supposed to be something very, very big. And I do like the videos, like it hits the feel, like when Cassell say about Frey, and then yeah, oh boy.
Mm.
Well,
And then yeah, all right.
I mean, we literally we're about 9 days away, so we're literally getting very, very, very close. And again, I actually already booked that day off from work. I have a stream planned for that day. I am literally planning on going 30 minutes after service come up, right onto the air and start the stream as soon as service come up. You can count 30 minutes and I'll be online, and I'll be going through that journey of pain. So, well, on a lighter note, in terms of Dark Lord Castle and Fallen Fire, let's start with Dark Lord Castle. We only got little tiny tidbits off the King's Raid website about what his kit, including the fact that he can enhance his own abilities and do more damage. What do you think Dark Lord Castle's kit is going to be like, Bravo?
I honestly think he would be somewhat similar to the current version of Cassell. Probably like more offensive or offense oriented, because like like the current Cassell is like more defensive. Like like he has dodge, he has like reduced damage to heroes and stuff. So I think the Fallen Cassell will probably be more on the attack side, probably
Offensive?
something more
Okay.
towards the chase. But I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know much. We don't have much to go on except that one line on their website. Flash, what about you? What do you think?
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but normal Cassell is just mainly in pure skill-wise, he's mostly a PvP hero. I'd be surprised if they make Dark Lord Cassell as well a PvP hero.
To power
But
creep himself, huh?
Yeah, if we're if we're going off of the challenge stage chapter, I have a hard time believing that the skills that we see him use in that, if they're going to be the same,
Yeah, I highly doubt they'll go that route.
I highly doubt it. But I have a hard time believing that those will be PvE oriented skills. I have a feeling those are more PvP oriented, especially with the pull. But I do see them doing like a dichotomy with him.
Okay. And I mean, they could honestly also make him a PvP hero, but just give him a whole different kit. I mean, he can't power creep himself if he has a different kit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Val, what do you think about Dark Lord Castle?
I mean, I've seen a few leaks here and there. I probably won't mention them too much, but I do think his kit will probably... I want to think that they would try and make their dark counterparts the opposite of their base heroes. So like how Castle, like base Castle is closer to PvP oriented, I guess you could say, and maybe Dark Lord Castle will be more PvE. But
PvE.
I don't know. That's just like what I would hope.
Again, it's all speculation, so we're not sitting here gonna be like, oh no, he's gonna be PvP. No, again, we literally have 2 sentences to go off of, so I agree. Not.
He can also be useful in both. I wouldn't complain.
Oh, I'm going to be using both without a doubt in my mind. And just to let you guys know, if Dark Lord Castle comes out as a PvE hero, I will still be using him to kick your asses in PvP. Just saying.
You kick everyone's ass.
Well, that's my. What do you think about Fallen Frey, Bravo? We heard, in the 2 sentences that we got on the Vespa website, at max mana, apparently her skills are going to be enhanced.
Well, I actually am more I'm gonna be honest, I'm more curious about Frey more than Cassell, because like the current Frey is like she's like very updated, but Fallen Frey
no.
but for the Fallen Frey, I saw her in the Fallen Castle dungeon, and she's like busted with the shield and enhancing to Dark Castle at the same time. And probably I feel like her kit will be something similar to that road, probably more offensive, probably something like if full mana, maybe like the map wide AoE attack like the one we see in the Hell dungeon.
Okay.
Probably. Yeah.
Alright. Flash, what do you think about Fallen Frey?
I'm sensing Magic getting a lot better than Fizz again with her incoming kit. I just think that with the whole enhancing of skills, we're going to see some buffage and most likely attack power that we really haven't seen before on a priest. So I think Val is probably going to be the best person to put in their opinions on it. because I'm not exactly an expert on Frey. But I think Val's probably going to be the better person to ask.
I can hear Val chewing on his fingernails. Val, what do you think about Fallen Frey?
Alright, so from what I can gather, Fallen Frey will probably be the first, like, proper, actual DPS priest. At least that's what they're really, like, pushing with how they worded it. Like, they really pushed how her S3 is going to deal damage. Unlike base Frey.
You can say it!
No, it may be her
Like
entry,
base
maybe her
Frey.
passive too.
Maybe. But yeah. And at least for her other skills, I'm assuming they're going to be very similar, because that's how they were in the sub-story. Her S1 was just your typical heal, her S2 was a shield. Whether it's a full team shield or just a targeted shield, we won't know, I guess. But I think the thing everyone is really excited for is that S3, what it will do and what it'll be like.
9 days, Val. 9 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 days. I'm looking at chat, and they're just kind of making the memes. Magic has the upper hand. Fizz has the upper hand. Yeah. Have you seen
We don't know how to
DPS
balance
Juno though? Oh. Well, nobody gonna comment on Fallen Frey's race, Fallen Angel. Doesn't that indicate the original Frey should be an angel race, and she's actually the daughter or sister of Asilica? I mean,
Ow.
I think that's diving a little too deep, but what do you think?
I mean, if you watched her birthday scene, there was something about, I think it was Asilica coming down and like looking around the world tree, which was where Frey was first found.
Oh.
So I guess no one watched Frey's birthday scene.
No,
But
I mean,
it's
I
about
mean,
Frey's
I
birthday.
didn't watch it.
I didn't give too much thought to it, but now that you kind of bring it up, well, she might not be a human, and she might be a fallen angel.
Also being born on the 1st of the year.
Yeah.
No, Gwen, we're not going that route.
No,
Gwen.
Gwen.
Let's not go that road.
Gwen, you delete that, Gwen. You're not gonna take my straight ship and just make it incest. No, I'm not going that route, Gwen.
The only thing, like, so I did surprised, like, they don't list Frey as heroes, but they list Frey as falling angel. I just don't know whether in PvP,
yeah.
I just don't know whether in PvP is she gonna be like heroes, or she just not gonna ignore all the gears. That's like,
Ooh, that would be
Yeah,
nice.
that's
I would
a-
like that. Yes,
Mm.
please.
I haven't. Yeah, I should thought that. Like, oh yeah.
Well, considering we're literally almost there. Last two topics: Eclipse changes, Kane's protection, aka you guys have been calling it Kane's condom, and the abundance of materials.
It's CC.
Hmm.
Yes. Well, what are your thoughts on the Eclipse changes that are going to be coming up, Bravo? Or have you not really looked at them?
I know. I already know what about it. Eclipse change. I would say is a good change, but it basically asks people to have multiple buff, right? Change the heal rate stuff. And Cane protection, I think that is a feature that it should be there a long time ago. It's like it should be a feature.
Did we
a
just
long
get this?
time
This should have been
ago.
here since the beginning.
I joke about like how it's actually meant to be a feature at the beginning, but someone like forgot to put it in, and they're like, oopsie.
Oopsie.
Yeah.
What about you, Flash?
Yeah. And then as for abundance of materials, I do agree that they do give out a lot of adders right now.
That's
Still
nice.
not enough though.
That's nice.
Let's more. Let's have more. Yeah.
You're satisfied.
Yeah.
Flash.
Still not enough, but it's fine. It's a good start. My.
For Eclipse, I feel it's a little too late. I think Eclipse, in and of itself, is a bit flawed for free-to-play players, in the idea that the low amount of ether is just unbearably slow for anyone that can't clear past stage 30 or stage 25. And ether itself, I'm happy with the whole new enhancement system with going over the limit, but in addition to that, you have to, if you're going to be spending more ethers in order to get a higher percentage chance, you should be giving out more ethers simultaneously. And the whole concept with Eclipse being, oh, you're supposed to have multiple teams in order to clear multiple high stages, it just turns into 2 to 3 teams cheesing with one method. King's Protection, as Bravel said, it should have been there a long time ago. No complaints there. I love the system. It's great. I just wish that the protections were a bit more common. Maybe in a way, bringing back a new revamp of the 28-day login check. I think that would be a good way of adding in a Kane blessing for 28 days.
On the
I think
attendance board,
the materials is really, really good. Especially, I know a few people have a few complaints about the whole Transcendence event coming back after, what is it, like 6 months? But the amount of materials you get from it, oh boy!
Yeah, it's actually really, really good. Well, Val, what about you?
The Eclipse changes, I'm glad they at least finally addressed it. Like, this is something that really needs to be changed. Like, yeah, as Flash said, like, the amount of ethers that you get is just abysmal. And the fact that they released the fact that you can overcap on your enhancement. Like, if you're going to do something like that, you really do need to hand out more ethers. But the Estelle missions really gave out a lot more, I guess. But it really depends if you can even like achieve those as well. And then they had the event, the Stam event from last patch that helped a little bit with that as well. Yeah, the Juno one. So that was alright, I guess. But yeah, I am looking forward to see what they do with it. I do hope that they actually force people to make multiple teams, because as it stands, like, even me, I just use one team. Like, making, or at least like have it where you can save the sets that you have for those teams, because re-gearing every single time for like how many number of teams you would want to run, it's ridiculous.
Yep, I mean, I run a lot of teams myself.
That is specifically stated, oh, we want you to use multiple teams. You know it's been done wrong when people are doing it with 1 to 2 to 3 teams.
Yeah, exactly. Kane's Protection, that definitely should have been a feature at the start. Like, if you think about it, like, you got a 1 in 88 chance of getting the hero you want, but then you also have a 15% chance of actually getting a soul weapon in the first place.
Yeah.
And then your pity is a random anyways.
Yeah, and then but yeah, it would be nice to like make them more common. Like, having them event limited is just, I don't know, that's not really the direction they should be taking with that. Maybe if they put it in the cash shop for like rubies, like once a month or something like that, I think that could be alright too. But yeah,
I think someone in chat said that, but another person responded with saying, "Oh, but you're already dropping about 2K a week on Kane resets and Shockmate."
Another awesome comment that actually just got dropped, which honestly I think is pretty amazing, is Ina just said that they should give you 10 instead of 1 ether when you do cane pulls. Actually, Izina, you have no idea how amazing that suggestion is, because I actually agree. Cane pulls are incredibly expensive, and when you flub one and you get 1 ether, especially if it turns out to be a purple one, that feels bad, man.
1 ether.
1 ether, man. You either get a gold ball, red ball, or you get his purple balls.
Thank God he doesn't blue ball.
That's why I didn't go that route. That's why I didn't go that route, Flash.
Can't get blue ball.
Hey. let's give it PG-13. Well, before we get ready to wrap it up with closing comments, let's talk about a little bit of the future content. Bravel, outside of, we know, the fact that we're getting Chapter 10, or maybe you want to speculate on Chapter 10, what do you think the future of King's Raid currently holds?
I think it's looking pretty well. I'm excited to look forward to the Fallen Castle and Frey patch coming up. It probably will be very game changing. It will be amazing. Probably they will add more more content for us to obtain more stuff. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It'd be the first time we get more than 1 hero at one go. Remember, it'd be the first time in a long while, I should say, because remember we used to get them in 3s. We used to get them
Yeah.
in 3, so now we're gonna get 2 heroes at the same exact time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, it used to be a thing.
Have 2 heroes at the same time. Yeah, I was thinking of like another 2 heroes that was like mentioned in the like leak. But it's
Yeah,
probably
no, I'm
not
talking about Fallen
hero.
Frey and Dark Lord Castle. It'd be the first time we get 2 heroes in one go compared to the ones that we've been getting for a very
Yeah.
long time.
And they also free.
Yes,
So-
they are. If for right now, if you complete that dungeon, you get them for free.
Yeah.
Well, Flash, what do you think about future content or Chapter 10 speculations?
I'm gonna go on some chapter 10 speculation. I think a lot of people, if they've been paying attention to the story, are kind of galvanized towards Lua at this point. And I'd like to see if we do get like a solution to Frey and Cassel's dark forms, if they're able to come back to the light or able to control what they now have, we could see maybe a new antagonist in Lua, because throughout chapter 9 you kind of see her through Maria's eyes as being like this force that doesn't truly care about the world. So you could see possibly her being the new antagonist that we have to go up against.
So
Might
I
have
actually, you know what? I love that you bring up these because you make me bring up a lot of counterpoints. I actually have a different kind of view. I actually said that maybe right now what we've been left on is a cliffhanger, and Leah made her move. Leah, aka being, the current antagonist, the one who turned Castle and Frey Felon, essentially. And I'm actually on the boat that maybe the next chapter or the next portion of the story is Lua making her move and trying to show us, what she's going to do. Because we saw Leah make her move. Now it's in kind of Lua's court to see if she's going to make her move next.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense because Lua has done nothing. She has done absolutely nothing so far. She's probably just gonna let Leah do the move first, and then she's gonna respond accordingly, probably. That's the
I
only
can
good
definitely see the
explanation.
distaste for Lua in chat, though, and you know what? It's for good reason, because if you guys actually followed the lore of the story, if you remember, back when Kyle, aka Castle's dad, was going to slay the Dark Lord at the time, just before he was going up to face the Dark Lord, Lua took away her blessing and moved it to Castle, who was still unborn at the time, and Kyle ended up facing the Dark Lord at the time with his own strength, and hence how he ended up absorbing and becoming the new Dark Lord. So I kind of agree with chat, whereas Lua kind of being here, I know it's PG-13, but she was kind of a bitch. So we'll kind of leave it at that. I don't want to go any further than that. But there's actually a lot of speculation. Flash, I'm kind of really, really glad you brought that up, because you make me bring up a lot of counterpoints. Well, yeah, go for it.
Also, another thing for future content, I want more birthdays.
Yeah.
I want more birthdays. Like, give us yearly stuff. If you could see character progression when you have units that aren't really focused on, because I think one of the things that really kind of gets me about King's Raid is that there's more factions than just Orvalia. There's the Empire and the Resistance within it, and then you have all the techno-magic stuff that you want to explore. So I would like to see character progression on the characters that really don't get focused on in the main story itself. Like, I mean, almost all the new heroes really haven't been seen in any other content besides, well, their birthdays.
I think that's because the content itself has been really, really slow. Believe it or not, we're approaching a year since Chapter 9 and 9.5 release.
Yeah.
Actually, I believe
Do you
it's been
prefer
over a year.
birthday or you prefer sub-story?
Give us fairies for future content. Crispy
Oh
fish
yeah,
tacos,
also get
please.
hairstyles and accessories.
Yeah, sub-story.
Well, Val, what about you?
Personally, I'm not really much of a lore junkie. Like, if you ask me something about story, I'm not really gonna be able to answer that. But
Unless
I am
that's-
I am definitely looking forward to Chapter 10, what it has to offer, and see if this actually is the resolution to everything, or if there's a lot more to come with it. Because, like, as it feels to me right now, it really feels like the final chapter. but I'm really hoping there is going to be a lot more
Yeah,
to it.
and it feels more of a cliffhanger. The more you think about it, it definitely feels like a cliffhanger. And I'm actually kind of laughing because Tweba said, can we get Chase's memories back? If I believe he actually started regaining some of his memories in Chapter 9. So we're heading down that path. They're trying to give other heroes more lore. And I could have sworn, didn't his name start with an R, his real name? Oh my god, I'm blanking out. But I'm pretty sure that they revealed us Chase's real name. So, I mean, they're moving in that general direction. But, Vel, to your point, I think right now, currently, in my honest opinion, we're kind of at a cliffhanger, and hopefully the next chapter kind of drops us off that cliff already. just throw me off already, dang it. I'm tired of waiting.
But,
I'll go for it.
yeah. Oh, no, it's alright.
No, you're okay. I mean, I'm looking at it, I think we're pretty much ready to kind of wrap it up. Do you guys have some closing comments? Anything for the audience you'd like to talk about before we go ahead and wrap it up?
I think someone in chat said something about the League of Crowns.
Oh.
League of Crowns. That's still coming soon ever since I joined the game.
Yeah, no.
Ratty, thank you. Yes, DX. Chase's real name was Ratty.
Oh.
Yes. Yep.
Sounds like Laddie.
It sounds like Laddie. Well, if you guys have no closing comments, I'll get ready to wrap it up.
Buff Reyna.
Buffering. Well, I guess that kind of does wrap it up. You guys, if everybody in chat would please thank Bravel, NA's biggest sandbag. We got Flash, and we got fellow creator Vale, who joined me today on today's podcast. We had, I don't know about you guys, I had a blast talking about everything. We sat a long time on balancing, but I'm pretty sure everybody got what they wanted to say through for the most part. Bravel, Flash, Val, thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and hop out of chat to do my sign-off. It was a great pleasure. I hope you guys will look forward to signing up again for the next podcast, hopefully next month. And I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much, Flynn.
All
Thanks so much, Flynn.
I will see you guys in just a bit. To everybody still with us in the podcast, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Again, we do these once a month. I absolutely love doing these podcasts. I believe it or not, I'm always nervous, not knowing if anybody's going to show up or if anybody's going to listen. But that does wrap it up for today. We've been on the air for about an hour and a half. We discussed a lot. I will go ahead and export this to YouTube by the end of the day tomorrow, so you guys can go ahead and give it another listen. That does wrap it up. You guys, I do have the regularly scheduled stream tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And with that stream, I will have the challenge reel ready, and I will take brand new challengers. And if you guys don't know what the challenge is, a challenger reel, and all that stuff is, I'll be happy to explain it to you guys then. If you're brand new to the stream, I just dropped the link to the Discord. To everybody who followed and subbed, you guys, you don't have to sub at all. I do this for fun, but thank you so much for the subs. It means a lot. And everybody who followed today, welcome. I hope you guys enjoyed it. My regular stream is literally just once a week, every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and I always have the schedule up in my server. So, like I said, I threw the link into the Discord. Thank you for joining. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart, and I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. And with that said, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful night.